Coveted Jewel, a super broken card in Vintage, and I really do think I solved it in Legacy. Come check it out. Coveted Jewel is so sweet, and now you get to enjoy it guilt-free as it is legitimately powerful, mostly thanks to Transmute Artifact. Now, if you haven't seen this card before and you don't feel like reading this wall of text, I will explain it to you. So it's 2 blue, and it's a sorcerer, you cast it, right? You don't have to do anything as in addition to its cost. It's like a more balanced Tinker base, basically, right? You just put it on the stack. Now, if your opponent lets it resolve, now you get to choose an artifact to sacrifice, and then you get to look through your library and take any artifact and put it into play. Now, that artifact dies unless you pay the difference in mana cost from the artifact that you sacrificed to what you got. So if you sacrifice a 3-drop, you can get a 3-drop or below. You can get a 4-drop if you pay an additional mana, a 5-drop if you pay 2, so on and so forth. So this card pulls a lot of weight in this deck. Obviously, it's a blue card for Force of Will, and it tutors for whatever artifact is going to be appropriate to win the game. Whether we are on low resources and just want to put a 1-ring into play and we have the time to activate it a few times, or later on when we already have enough and we just want to get Engine to combo off and win the game, or quite often, it's simply just getting a Jewel, especially if you have another Transmute already in hand, or of course if you draw into another one. Jewel comes into play, it draws 3 cards, you make 3 blue mana. If you draw into another Transmute, it's just insane. You draw 3 cards with 2 mana, and you actually go up on mana, because it costs 2, it gets 3, so you draw 3 and add a mana, which is insane in and of itself. And you're sacrificing your jewels too, so you don't have to worry as much. It mitigates the risk of giving your opponent a jewel, because this card, if your opponent attacks you and you don't block, it triggers, they get the jewel, it untaps, and they draw 3 cards. So you really don't want to give up your jewel. However, it does happen from time to time. Sometimes you lose because of it. Sometimes you still win the game, honestly. But for the most part, we're looking to win on the turn that we cast the jewel, or we also have built-in ways to mitigate that risk. Obviously, Transmute, as well as PO. It's not uncommon for me to pick up Jewel with very low chances of going off and winning that turn, but simply just putting it into my hand so that I don't give it to my opponent. And if Jewel's coming into play, all you need is 1 more additional mana for you to be able to cast PO. So if you have a PO in hand, it's kind of like this insurance package with Jewel. So this deck is somewhat similar to the PO deck that I've been playing, except there are a few crucial differences. One, I don't think it's appropriate to play Urza Saga. You can build it that way. It would be good. I don't think it's as good as if you just don't. This deck really, really, really wants all 8 soul lands, and I think it wants to go as fast as possible. So Urza Saga is a card that, at fastest, it's doing its thing, other than just being a land, by turn 3, right? That's the time frame of Urza Saga. And that's assuming that you're playing it on turn 1. Most of the time you're not, or at least often enough, where, let's say it's like a turn 3.5 card. This deck is usually winning on either turn 2 or 3. And when I say winning, I mean oftentimes literally killing the opponent and going to the next game. But sometimes it's more so it's a turn 2 ring, or it's a backup ring, whatever. Most of the time, if you resolve the 1 ring with this deck, maybe you didn't win right on the spot, but you're going to. But more often than not, it is actually winning on those turns. And that time frame just doesn't line up with Urza Saga, so you just wind up with a land essentially that taps for 1 instead of one that's tapping for 2. You could play all 8 soul lands and Saga, but now 12 of your lands are colorless, and you do have a reasonable blue mana requirement, right, from a couple of things. One, obviously, Transmute Artifact, that is double blue. And to cast their sideboard cards, Dress Down, Echoing Truth, Repeal, it's really important to be able to get out of things like Collect Roof, Karn, Null Rod, and this deck is a lot better at doing that than the previous PO deck, because our mana isn't tied up in Seat of the Synods. We have a lot more non-artifact blue sources, and we can afford to do that because we can afford to run Seagate Restoration. This is a card that I've tested heavily with the previous PO list, and it just wound up costing too much life. This deck, however, since it is a lot faster and is looking to end the game quicker and not inviting itself into the mid and late game, that life loss is greatly mitigated, or the risk associated with the life loss doesn't hurt as much because the game is ending. And it's more important that we have, or rather I should say, generally speaking, this to get this deck to function, you have less blue cards. So now your Force of Wills are worse, and this deck really wants to run Chrome Mox, in my opinion, because we want to go faster, we want to be able to power these things out. So one way that you can essentially run more colorless cards and still have a high blue count is just by running Seagate, which of course boosts our Chrome Mox, and of which we can use to power out our artifacts and to give more fodder for Paradoxical Outcome. This deck is actually a much better Paradoxical Outcome deck than PO. However, it does make sense to call the previous deck PO because this deck is more so a Jewel deck. It is 100% a Jewel deck. We don't have Emery to rely on for recurring our win cons, and we don't have Urza Saga. So literally our only win con is our combo piece, which is why I am running 2 different win cons. These are, in my opinion, the 2 best win cons. I could fill up an entire 20-minute segment on talking about all of the possible win cons and pros, cons, and why I've chosen these, but I think I've already done that in previous videos. I'm sure if you tune into my Twitch, people ask me all the time, and I go through it all the time, so I'm just not going to do that here. We're going to move on. But yeah, so one of the strengths of this deck is that we can run 4, 5, 6, 7, plus a Lorien, so effectively 8 non-artifact blue sources. So this means, even in the face of Collector Oof, oftentimes we can cast their Transmute Artifact, which can often get the Mightstone and Weakstone, which makes this a very good sideboard card and very effective at killing Collector Oof, on top of the fact that these non-artifact blue sources also make it very easy to cast cards like Dress Down, Echoing Truth, Repeal, or even just hard casting the Mightstone. And of course Dismember, of which is a card that I didn't feel was appropriate for the PO list, but again, we can be a bit more liberal with our life total with this deck because we are faster. Another major reason to not run Urza Saga is Dress Down. Of course, our mana base, as we spoke of, is better supported for it so that we can actually cast the card, and we're not leaning on making constructs, of which die when you cast Dress Down. Now, that is a non-bow that doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% imperative that you never put those 2 cards together. It's not the case. However, I think there's enough reason altogether, and is just yet another reason to not run Urza Saga, and to be able to play a number of Dress Downs. At one point I had 4, right now I'm on 3, but it feels really good. You can pick it back up with PO sometimes, you end step the Dress Down, you PO, you pick it up, you get a card out of it, you can replay it. Defense Grid is also a card that I think wasn't quite appropriate for the PL list, but is for this deck because we are faster. So we can take advantage of that 3 mana requirement a lot easier. But at this point, let's just jump into a league so that you can see it in action. I am super stoked about this list. If you followed enough of my content, you know that I've dipped into Jewel here and there with varying success, mostly just a lot of fun, playing around with Mind's Desire, so on and so forth. But this list is powerful. It is immediately apparent, the power level, and we are very close at, or to rather, solving it. I say it's solved because it is largely solved. It is mostly solved. I think we're basically there. I think it's now just a matter of playing out the matchups dozens and dozens and dozens of times so that we can feel how they do play out, so that we can fine tune, which is mostly sideboard tweaking, which does occasionally change your main deck here and there depending on how that plays out. But for all intents and purposes, we have solved this deck. You can take this list, you can take a similar list if you have some sort of preference that, you know, whatever. We have cracked the code at a core that is obviously very competitive. So if this is your thing and say vintage and you want to bring it to legacy, but it wasn't good enough so you can't, well now you can. Enjoy it. All right, see you in round 1. All right, round 1, here we go against Yapperdoodle. We are on the play. We take those. This hand is pretty good. All right, play a city. Just gonna get Opal out there. Pass it over. Incoming Cabal Therapy, naming the One Ring. All right, Mountain, go. I like that. Feels like Painter. Make 4 mana and cast the One Ring. Yep, we in there. And draw another Opal. It's fine. Pass it over. We rangin', baby. We rangin'. Urza's Saga. Yeah, this has got to be Painter. I'm seeing a lot of Painter lately. Speaking of. Alright, we lose 1. And off we go. That's a PO. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I think I'm actually just going to imprint this PO with Chromox. I want to be able to hold up Otawara. Or we could just go. Could just go for it. Nah. So let's imprint. Just trying to think if I want to play a One Ring. Not sure it's necessary. It's not like they're really going to be attacking us. Like, we had the power to play a spell there. And then on upkeep be able to use Otawara, but I guess it has to be Ring, and I would want to keep this at 2. So then there's just not really any reason to cast it. Hopefully they just tap out for something derpy. Grindstone. Oh, if they have Spirit Guide, just means we have to hold up this Otawara, like, at all times. Unless we do it now. And then just make them recast it. Kinda gotta win on our turn. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, it might be wrong. What is happening? Blasting my city. Okay. I don't get it. Why? Alright, now we have a chance to draw Force of Will. Or Dress Down. Like, on top of just winning. Which we're probably gonna do. And now they've tapped themselves out of Blast. Oh, yeah. Do I want a Jewel? Jewel away this One Ring. And then we can PO? Let's do that. Oh wait, no, we can get Engine. We get Engine, we pay 1, we have 1, 2, we Opal, 3, 4, 5, then we can One Ring. Oh yeah. Engine. Yes. Play Opal. Tap, tap. I guess I have all 4 drops. I guess I should PO here. Yeah. Tap these. Pick them back up. This should do it. Chromox. Make a blue. Opal. Untap Chromox. One Ring or just go for Jewel. If I play Petal, do we go to 7? Go to 1, 2, 3, 6. So we can just Jewel. Yeah, honestly, I don't think it really matters. Yeah, baby. That's a Jewel, baby. We trophied with this today. And so did Breslov. It'll just go Reservoir, Transmute, go get another Jewel. Why not? So dirty. Let's go One Ring, trigger, draw, cast the Petal, draw 2. Let's counter the Petal. And zap ya. Zzz. Cool. Painter, painter, painter. I want dismember. I want a echoing truth. Peel. Mightstone. I think I want grids. Played grids earlier today and I think I liked it. I played 3. We come down on PO. Chromox. Like, Dress Down can be nice against them. If you cast it in response to their painter, then they don't get to name a color. And then painter is just a 1/3. But especially in the draw, we're not very likely to get it under a painter. It doesn't do anything post-painter. Everything remains the color that they named. Yes, hand is sweet. Let's do this. Mountain, go. Okay. Let's go City, Grim, Assault. Just gonna get these out there. There's some, I guess there can be reasons why you want to hold them, but it gets it out there for Metalcraft, for PO, so that we don't have to cast them later on, or like a Thorn. Okay. 2, 4, 7. We still have enough to Jewel. Yeah. Let's Jewel. They have 4 cards? Oh, look at that. We could Transmute for another Jewel. I think it's supposed to grid. Oh, we could get hit by Aer Lingus. I think I was supposed to make sure I had Echoing Truth held up. They hit us with Aer Lingus, we are in trouble. Oh no, it's happening. Yup. That was, it was just foolish, really. No other way to put it. Yep. Yikes. We are very behind now. Don't really know how we get back in it either. It's just a punt. Just a flagrant punt. Yeah, we had the 3. We could have Echoing Truth. Untapped. Done plenty more stuff. It's okay, we're still very much favored game 3. Elder and Engineer. Jeez. Right, they got Needle. Yeah, it's alright. We'll go to game 3. Little Punskis. Thorn, huh? Guess I should play an extra Echoing Truth. Just cut Dress down. Yep. This hand is great. Kept on 7. Alright, your turn. Welder. Yeah, probably not going to be enough. Seagate. Let's go City. Jewel. Oh, yeah. Really want to get Engine, but we didn't hit any zeros. We can't. Alright, we'll go for another Jewel. Yeah, we can't get Mightstone. My worry is Trap. Our next spell can be trapped. Okay. Which is Mightstone? No, maybe that wasn't right. Okay, no trap. Interesting. Right, let's kill Welder. We'll play a Ballista. And Opal. Maybe I shouldn't have played Opal. That's alright. They gotta do something real good this turn. If they want any chance at winning. 4 mana. I guess Karn would pretty much do it. I mean, we have plenty of outs to it in the deck. Oh, an Aer Lingus for 2. Okay. God damn, man. I guess even for 1 would have worked too, because they have Trample. They just always have Aer Lingus. That's definitely bad for us. They had a Spirit Guide, right? No, they didn't. They pedaled. Alright, we'll let this go. Oh, no. 1 would not have worked, because... what is it? That aren't blocked, because it would still be blocked. It's not combat damage. I mean, we still have a lot going on. And we're probably going to take it back. Or rather, there's a reasonable chance we're going to take it back. We'll see. 2, 4, 6, 8. We can pump this up twice. Maybe I am supposed to play Force instead of Grid. This feels bad, walking into Pyroblast. Okay. Everything's white. Gross. Engineer. Okay, so they're just putting blockers out there, basically. It tells me they probably don't have Blast. Needle. Okay. They draw a card. Hopefully it's not a trap or something. Monolith. 2, 4, 6, Jewel. We can Jewel, still PO. So let's do that. Wish you took all your jewels back when you played a Jewel. Not that good. 3 lands. A bummer. I guess I'm just not going to play into trap. Right? Yeah, I think it would be pretty crazy to play into trap here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 2 floating. Alright, no Spirit Guide Blast. Didn't hit any grids. It looks like we're toast if they counter this. Alright, no trap. Let's go for another Monolith. Go Opal. Monolith. Monolith. Make a blue. Opal. Make a blue. Tap for 3. Power Artifact. Go get Paradox Engine. Pay the difference. Get a bajillion mana. Roughly. Get up on that mana. Let's go Jewel. No, it just doesn't matter. Even if they have trap, they'd have to have double trap. Draw 3, make blue, make mana, make blue. I haven't hit a ring. That's kind of funny. Just cast the Seagate Restoration. Casual draw 13 or 12. And it actually nets a bunch of mana. Okay. No grids, man. It's funny. Let's play a ring. Make some mana. I think we have enough mana. What do you think? Draw a card. I mean, it would be insane to sandbag a Mindbreak Trap at this point, but just in case, I am going to find grid before I cast this Reservoir. In fact, I'll just use Power Artifact. Get Defense Grid. Play Reservoir. I said, not going to lie, this is fun to watch. Play some more stuff. And zap ya. Awesome. We're 1-0. That's, I mean, we definitely punted away game 2. So this is classic, like, 3-0, basically. This matchup has been pretty easy. Like, it's easy to just throw it. You do sometimes have to be careful. Jewel, obviously, 4th Aerlingus is kind of, creates that angle. But honestly, most of the time when you cast Jewel, you're just winning on the spot. So, yeah, we'll see you in round 2. Alright, round 2 against Always Sleepy 0. We have lost the die roll. Decent hand, though. Wish it had a Monolith, but I'll take it. We got a Force. Shatterskull Smashing, untapped. Chromox Imprint. 4, 5, 6. So they mulliganed once. Imprinted. Basically a multi 5. Else on 1. That's fine. That is okay with me. They said, by the way, hi Tony, long time no see. I say after casting Chalice on 1. Probably realized they made a mistake. I do have some ones, but not many. It's just the keys, right? That's a Trinisphere. Hold on. Yeah, just 3 keys. That's it. They say, hi YouTube. Everyone say hi to Always Sleepy. Alright, Trinisphere. It's funny because it's like not even terrible for us. It's interesting that this is a card we maybe should even run. A lot of times we can just play through it, and I think we almost can, but not quite. And they only have 1 card. I'm going to counter it. Okay, that was an excellent draw. You're just going to win next turn, so no use in playing. I guess it doesn't matter. I was going to play City, because if you know you're going to win the next turn, you may as well play it. You take less damage, but I don't think the damage matters either. Alright, we're taking 1. We need to draw. I guess I can just play a while. There we go. That'll do. That will certainly do. We jewelin'. Oh yeah, baby. We jewelin' all right. Opal. 1 ring. Draw. Assault Monolith. Take some mana, draw some cards. You know the drill. Draw. Mana. Assault Monolith. Mana, mana. Mana, mana. Draw. Said, I'd like to go on record that I still may be dead despite this start. And they said, Tony is broken. See, what did I say? Haha. It was a decent start. Turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Trinisphere, turn 3 Threat. A better start would be turn 1 Trinisphere. Okay, so I don't hate Worm Coil. Obviously, I want Echoing Truths and Repeal. We don't need like a heavy boarding because we just kind of like go over the top of a lot of lock pieces, which is actually just a really good feature of this deck. Like, we would have just still beaten that Trinisphere, even if we just let it resolve. But I do want these. I don't think I need Dress Down. It's like fine against the initiative, I guess, but meh. Trim a Chromox. We have 4, 7, 12, 16, 20 blue cards. Trim a Monolith. Sure. I will keep. They also kept on 7. Alice on 0. I mean, we also just don't really have that many, like, we have 10, and then I boarded 1 down, so we have 9 zeros, plus a turn 1 threat, so this could be good enough. When they go Lockpiece and threat turn 1, it's pretty rough. But we do have Repeal. Alright, we go to 19 and draw another land. I don't like that. Yeah, let's go Ancient Tomb. We might have to go Soul Land, Soul Land, Soul Land, Jewel. But there's a good chance we're going to be dead before that. Magus. Alright. Yeah, it slows us down for sure. Are we dead next turn? 4, 5, 6. We go 13. Then next turn it's going to be... plus 3 is 5. Plus 3 is 8, 9, 10. So, come on. When you play Island... we have to find a piece of fast mana plus the 1 ring. We go down to 3. Peel Chalice. That's not going to do it. Ah, it's so close. Okay. Game 3 it is. Have to be to start like that. Yeah, I think I'm fine with just running it back. A little slow, but I'll keep it. I feel like we have a lot of draws that just have us popping off. Damn, no mulligan from them. So pedal, pedal, land. Your turn. Any chalice, I guess we're letting resolve. Chromox. Sure. Chalice on 1 plus chalice on 0. Nope, Spirit Guide Magus. That's fine. And a chalice. I mean, it's annoying, but I think we have to let it go. Another mountain. Hopefully they missed their land drop. Looks like they may have. Alright. Alright, that's great news. Let's play the island. We're gonna have, what, 4? We used to sack 1 up to a 3 mana card for Transmute. So we need some more mana. We need a Monolith. Opal's no good. Alright, if I go Island, Petal, Transmute. And we're sacking this. And yeah, we can only get a 3 drop. Alright. Please, Brick. No. They found a land. Not good. Fable. I'm gonna let that one go too. But it's starting to get dicey. 14. Would love to find a jewel. Right, another land. So that means I could transmute for the 1 ring. We don't get protection. But it's still pretty decent. Could also go for a monolith. No, that doesn't look great. Could just PO for 2. No, I'm gonna get a 1 ring. Draw. Alright, a force. It's not great. I have 4, 5 mana. Gonna be drawing 3 cards. Probably gonna force this play here. Another Magus. Maybe I won't. So we're taking 4, we go to 10, we go to 9. We activate, let's say they get another turn. We'd be taking 6, we go to 3, we go to 1. Then we can't use force. Does that mean I'm just supposed to force it? Yeah. Give us better odds at getting another turn. We're getting 2 turns. They just didn't attack with Magus. Oh, they figured we had protection. Alright, that's pretty big for us. Chalice on 1. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty big for us. They attacked with this because they get the treasure. But they thought we had protection. Alright, Jewel is good if we can draw land here. Did not, but we're chaining rings. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the old one here. I shouldn't F6. Alright, they've got their thing. Now we have protection. Now they're gonna attack with both because they are confused. I don't blame them. With Transmute, you don't get the protection because you don't cast it. Alright, we go to 8. Key gets countered. Let's draw 3. Land. I don't want a jewel until I know that I can pick it up with PO. We have 2, 4, 6. With jewel, I'd only have 3. I wouldn't be able to, so let's play a 1 ring. Going to once again keep the old one. Alright. They get a treasure. Blood Moon, fine. You got it. We get it. You like mountains. Otawara. Okay. Okay. We Otawara Chalice on 0. Then we have 2 or 5. I guess so we don't really need to do that. How do we not hit a monolith? Alright. We are gonna go for a jewel here. Draw 3. Let's go. We'll have a land drop, right? Yeah. If I go power artifact for engine, I'll draw my deck and I'll still have a land drop so that I can play monolith and then we'll have the mana to go off. Okay. So power artifact. Get paradox engine. Pedal. It's countered. Tap, draw 5. Play another spell. Gets countered. Draw 6. That's an echoing truth as well. Yeah, we'll just do that. Makes it easier. Draw 7. Play opal. Make it blue. Draw 8. Play pedal. Alright, that was pretty crazy, but they had some lock pieces, but they didn't have a fast clock, and we were able to just make some land drops and chain some rings. And once we're in that spot, it's pretty hard to lose. But good games. See you in round 3. Alright, here we are in round 3 against BlogBoy. We lost the die roll. We rolled a 1. Got a kind of slow hand. 2 keys and an Aetherflux is awkward. A very slow route to Jewel. No force. You draw a monolith, this hand is busted. We can probably do better. Yeah, I'd say this is better. Bottom city. Pass it over. Thought seized. Yeah. I'd say monolith is probably my most important piece, but I feel like they're not going to take monolith. Probably going to take PO or force if they're trying to force something through next turn. Yeah. Can I get an opal? Rest down. Alright, let's play out monolith and pedal. Alright, wasteland. Oh no. Is this a Karn? Are you kidding? Ritual Karn. Really? Does it really matter? I guess Dress Down's more castable after this, so let's hit a force. Nope. So stupid. What a stupid card. Alright, coding incoming. Guess I'll play a monolith. Factory. This is like Pox. I kill both of my things. Alrighty. There's that. So I need forces. Need echoing truths. Imagine they're gonna have bowmasters. I think I need dress downs. I think I want wormcoil. Mightstone. No. Dismember, yes. It's a lot of cards. I think we gotta pretty much come off of PO. Monolith, one of the keys. Couple Chromox. The other basalt. 1 jewel? Yeah. Alright. This strange hand. 4. I'm gonna keep it. As weird as it seems. Leyline. Yeah, I don't care about that. I mean, I will if they play Helm. Yeah, it's not like they brought these in. It's just in the deck. Thoughtseize as expected. They're probably supposed to take Transmute, right? Like, I was going to transmute away the reservoir for a Wormcoil engine. That was the plan. Yep. Alrighty. Ooh. Let's not Karn. How about that? Yeah, I'll play Opal. How about we just don't play a Karn? Oh, come on, dude. Oh. I know I have Dismember. Actually really nice to Dismember kill Sheoldred. Alright. Let's draw. Rest down. Oh, that's pretty good against Urza. Yeah, I'm not gonna play this Ancient Tomb. Maybe I should. Yeah, I guess I kind of have to. Like, if they Karn here, or obviously, like, Helm plus activation, which only takes land drop, ritual, Helm, you should be able to gain some life with this Aetherflux. There we go. Draw 3. Work. Do I pay 2? Probably. I'm gonna cast through a Monolith anyways. Dress it down, baby. Dress it down. Take it down a notch. Ooh, that looks like a win. Yes, indeed it does. Well, maybe not actually. 3, 4, 5. We play Engine. Yeah, then I can't cast the spell. I need to draw into like a 0 or something. So we play another One Ring. Yeah, and then I play this as a land, I think. We're gonna play Engine. Then we're getting attacked for 1 to 7, minus 3 to 4. You can play... No, then I can't hold up Force. I'll play the One Ring. Still keeping the old one. I'm at 11. We go to 8. And protection. Let me draw. We have this one. We're going to be doing engine stuff, yeah. Alright. You're up. Do they have a needle? They made a construct, so that's good for us. And a retrofitter? Okay. I think they're in trouble. Yeah, we can go engine. Go monolith. Guess I could draw, but if they go like ritual bowmaster, we're in trouble. I think we're fine wasting One Ring activation. 4. I think that's still the case. Let's get this One Ring trigger first. Actually, no, I should have used it because we gain life. So even if they bowmaster, we go to 9, then we would take 8, we would go to 1. But they're off it. Alright, game 3. Yeah, I think I want to keep it the same. Sure. I feel like Worm Coil is going to win the game for us. I don't know why. Just how it feels. Yeah, I mean, kind of resilient to discard. It's good. I'll put it this way. It's good enough that, you know, if you're mulling to 6 against, or just mulling against a discard deck is really bad. So if your hand is at all playable, you want to keep it. We took our blue source as expected. Dress down was not great. We want to draw either forces or colorless action or blue sources. Smallpox. Actual factual. Okay. I need my lands. I think it's dress down. Could be metamorph, but I feel like against Bowmaster, metamorph is just better. Actually kills it. Alright. That's a One Ring. That's good. Spell bomb, okay. Getting wastelanded. Bummer. Alright. That's not bad. They only have 2 cards, 3 cards. Him. Ugh. Don't hit the ring. Alright. Mana source. Any mana source. Alright. Let's go. We in there. Yeah, I guess we play it. He's gonna hurt if they smallpox, but him will hurt too. To a certain extent, you just gotta pick a line, you know? Liliana. Yeah, it's annoying. Liliana against the One Ring. And they have Saga. Let's go. Okay. No, I mean, we're drawing plenty more next turn, right? Yep, Jewel's gone. Should be able to draw out of this. Dress down is pretty good. Ooh. Alright. They're gonna make tokens, and dress down is gonna be pretty good. Just making sure this wasn't the game that Aetherflux was discarded. Exiled. You got it. Making a thing. Making another thing. Okay. Yep. It's a bummer. I guess I discard yet? No, I think I want to cast this. I might want to discard the card that I draw. I kind of want all these. Dismember. Not a bad one either. Huh. I think I'm ditching Force Will at this point. Alright. Taking 3 every turn. Another dress down. I can transmute this 1 ring away. 1 mana shy of making a worm coil engine. This is close to ulting. I think I have to ballista it. And hope that we draw a mana source. What are we going to pitch to Liliana? Retrofitter, okay. Ritual, Liliana, then they're going to castle. That's good. What now? Dress down? Yeah. Sure. Come on, mana. Come on, mana. Ugh. Well, shit. We could transmute 1 ring away and get Metamorph. Copy Needle on Liliana. Then we're not taking damage anymore. If they ult, I'm probably gonna get greedy and not ult though. Maybe. Let's bank on that. Because here's the thing. If they ult, we can sack the 1 ring, which they might see as like their win con right now. They know we have transmute, but people don't always play perfectly, especially against the card that uses the entire text box, the whole thing. And they're ulting. Like, I think this is actually fine. Maybe not. Yeah, it's not good. We gotta sacrifice this pile. Oh, man. Alright. Now they're gonna get servos going. What a bunch of misery this has been, huh? No more Lily, at least. Very funny deck. Hilarious. Make it flying. And make it big. I guess I kill it. Yeah, probably have to kill it. Well, that sucks. I might as well use this. A 2 life. That's a stupid card. Can we get some lands, please? It's turn 11. We haven't drawn a land. Not one? No, that's not true. We had lands in the beginning, but it's been a while. I feel like it's been like 6 or 7 turns. Did they just blow that up? Why? Why did they do that? I guess that's not the worst draw, but it's not good. Yep. Alright, they have 2 cards. We're down to 6. We've hardly got anything going here. Can I get a land? Okay. That's a risky land. Gross. I think I hold this land. Maybe I just can't. No, they're about to make a 4/4. Yeah. To make a 4/4, we have to hope to hit a mana source so that we can 1 ring and not die. Oh, they made 2 things. Instead of a 4/4? Oh, right, they have Wasteland. Just the onboard thing. Okay. I don't think we have an out. So I have to counter this. God. I feel like if we just had 1 more turn with that ring, Needle's brutal. I mean, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. Yeah, we have 4 answers in our deck. I guess we had an Echoing Truth early on, but it's turn 15. Classic Pox BS. Alright, they did it. They made a 4/4. Yikes, that was painful. Alright, we are 2-1. I'll see you in round 4. Alright, round 4 against Dustbones. This hand has no initial mana sources. And has 1 initial mana source. If we hit a second one, we have a... No. Too risky. Oh my god. I can't stand when this happens. I'm gonna go to 4. That was just a really unstable hand. Now we're rewarded. They turn 1 ring on 4. I'll take it. Alright, we're in there. Are we all the way in? We're not. You're in the dirt. Whir of Invention. Okay. Some sort of mirror. That's what it looks like. Yep. Let the jewel mirrors commence. Oh, look at that. They have cards. Ugh. Karn. Alright, it's not a mirror. They're playing Karn. They repeal. They worm coil. Alright, let's trim a Chromox, a Key, a Basalt. I'm gonna hold off on Dress Down. Some POs. And another Basalt. Okay. Turn 1 ring with Force Backup. Pretty good. Or We can go turn 1 Monolith, untap Engine, Petal, Ring, Force backup. Yeah, I think waiting is better. I think this Engine is going to be a more powerful play. City, Petal, Monolith. I'm going to let the key go. Sometimes countering it is just really good. I don't really care about a 1 ring. Like, they get to draw a lot of cards next turn, but I think we're about to kill them. Opal, okay. They have 3 cards. Petal was a very good draw. Oh, baby. We just in there? Like, full stop in there? Yup. You're dead. They said ballista, question mark? I'm just gonna show you what's up. How's that? Let's go Echoing Truth, the Monolith. Draw 3. Let's force, pitching force. Draw 4. That's fine. Alright, let's go Opal. Draw 5. Mana. I guess as soon as I cast this, they're gonna scoop. I guess not. Alright. Cool. On to game 3. That was a busted hand. I think I want to keep it the same. Maybe I don't want Worm Coil. Sure. Petal. Opal. Grid. Grid. Let's say no to Grid. Pitch Echoing Truth. So they've most likely boarded the forces out. Oh man, that was a good draw. That was so good. Oh god, this card is so much fun to cast. Alright, we go Petal. Let's get jeweled. They kept force and grid. Interesting. Ooh, yeah. We get engine. So we get engine. We can play island, transmute. Then we get 3. No, there's no guarantee there. Alright, let's get another jewel. Draw 3. Let's get another jewel. Draw 3. Okay. Play Petal. Make some mana. Play Ancient Tomb. EO for 3. Not the greatest. Okay. It probably seals it. We'll go 1 ring. They only have 1 card. And now we have a force, so I think we're in pretty good shape here. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can ditch 2 cards. Ditch Island. And Seagate. They're probably going to scoop. Unless they have a meaningful play here. But once we force it, they'll scoop, I would imagine. Opal incoming. 1 card. Karn. Nice try. I also have Echoing Truth. But we're just going to counter it. Yep. They're off it. Nice. Alright, we're 3 and 1. I mean, they playing something kind of similar. But obviously Karn is trash. And Jewel is superior. So that is now truth. Because of this one match, that proves it. Fact. Alright, see you in the final round. Alright, final round, and we have no initial mana sources. We've lost the die roll. This hand is fine. Not perfect. Guess I bought him Island. Nah. I just bought him Seagate. They mulled to 5. Petal. Thoughtseize? Wow. After a mull to 5. Now, if it's Black Saga Storm and they go Saga and they go Ancient Tomb, that's another story. When Yava Maya? What? Wow. That was a draw. We could turn 1 PO for 3. But that involves playing City. I don't want to get Thoughtseized again, though. It's a bummer. I think I just take the chance. I don't think it's worth playing City first. They had to pedal to Thoughtseize us, so... Okay, cool. So it's some sort of Turbo Depths. That was a good draw. Untap, 5, 6. Let's get Jewelin. Yup. That wasn't great. Now we can PO. 2, 3, 4, 5. This Chromox is looking hot. Real hot. Imprint, Force of Will. Petal, opal, monolith, monolith, key, untap, play key, untap, play jewel, draw. Oh, they're off it. Man, that was a nice turn too. Through a Thoughtseize. We were about to transmute this one away, get another jewel, which would go up to 4, which means we can PO for like 8. Crazy. Okay, Turbo Depths. They play enough green cards that they play Force of Vigor. They also have a lot of discard. I just want to cut forces, play a couple grids, call it a day. Or not call it a day, but as far as like disruption goes. Force is pretty good against Crop Rot, I will say. So I want Echoing Truth and Repeal. Dress Down is meh. Yeah, let's not play Dress Down. Keep the deck pretty lean. This is close to a turn 1 jewel. I will keep it. They mold to 6. Probably getting discarded. Well, you can't take jewel. You gonna take what? Opal? Basalt Monolith. Interesting. Oh, get ringed. Get rung. Ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Nobody's answering. Guess I'll leave a message. No, you cannot discard me. Got sure. U19. U4. Draw. If they have Crop Rot, they're making a 20/20. So I think we're supposed to metamorph our ring. You do get a trigger with this. Because it's not a cast trigger. It just says that if you cast it. And we did cast it. Because it becomes what you choose while it's on the stack. So it is a ring before it hits play. And thus, we won't die this turn. No Crop Rot. I don't care too much if they go score us. Go to 15. I care even less if they do it now. Huh. Oh yes. We could PO. I'm losing this anyways, and then I get these 2 back. Essentially only using my island to do it. Well, let's lose life first. Then let's draw. Because I think I'm going to bounce this. Ooh, Otawara is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we do have a jewel. But then we can't exactly stop the Hex Mage. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's just PO. For 3. Use that mana while we can. It'd be a bummer if they had Force of Vigor. But then they would be empty-handed. We'll take our draw step as well. Transmute, that's got to be good. Let's go Petal. No monoliths. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Jewel is 3. And then we have a key. Okay. Yeah, we're going in. I'm going in deep. Opal. Petal. Doom. Yeah, because I think this Transmute will wind up being able to get Engine. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go Jewel. We get Engine. Let's use up this key first. Get 1 more out of it. Can we grid? We go grid. We go grid. Then we go Transmute for Engine. Then we go Opal. Because this 1, 2. This is 3. We can't actually get up to a 1 ring at that point. So no grid. No grid allowed. They're just reading. Here is my Engine. Opal. Beseiju. Nope, they're just off it. They've had enough. Okay, so we had a 4-1. It was pretty convincing. That has been my experience with this deck. Usually, this early in testing, we don't have such a powerful and good deck, but I've done a little bit of Jewel testing in Legacy, I even made a video a while back, but there's just so many different cards to try. Thought Monitor, Thoughtcast, Mind's Desire. Do you play more Lorien? Do you play Sagas? Do you play more Metamorphs? How many keys do you play? Do you play Grids? Do you play LED Echo? There's so many good cards, and it's really difficult to figure out what configuration is optimal. And we were definitely on to something, obviously, with the PO deck that a number of us brought to Eternal Weekend, which is a different style. This is, I like to consider, really a jewel deck, certainly with PO in it. In fact, PO is harder than the PO deck, which is really more so like a ring PO 8-cast deck. Whatever. It's probably easiest to just call that PO and call this jewel. But so usually we don't have something so powerful, but I've done a little bit of testing specifically with Jewel, and then the almost actually probably more than at this point, 3 months of grinding, talking with a small community that was also grinding, the Hive Mind, fine-tuning with that deck. We learned a lot from it, and I think it's allowed us to kind of just fast-track a very good deck in this direction. On the day, I'm 9-1 with it. No, I'm sorry. There was a 5-0, but there was also a 3-2. So that's 12-3, which is pretty good, right? We've made some small changes along the way, but alongside that, Builder Burn, aka Preslav, trophied today as well. He was playing a version with Urza Saga, no islands, no main deck dress down, slightly different, but basically the same thing. He wanted to try Urza Saga, which is reasonable, totally reasonable. But even like as early as this morning, someone had asked, like, what do you think about this deck as opposed to the PO deck that you brought to Eternal Weekend? My answer was pretty much the same answer that I always give when it's this early, is basically that it's too early to tell. You know, that deck was the result of 3 months of grinding and hive minding, and this deck is still kind of in its infancy, but throughout the day playing it, it was quite clear that the tuning, most of it, was already done, right? So I am almost certain that this deck is either just as good as and simply different than the PO deck, or is just better. Entirely possible. They both have enough differences where it's not exactly easy to quantify. Having said that, if you're able to go faster and still have either the same or even better matchups, like, I'll give you an example. The difficult matchups for the PO deck was Cradle Control, which honestly, last minute before Eternal Weekend, I thought of Grafdigger's Cage as perfect tech for the deck, and it really helped that matchup, and actually probably turned it to maybe either a coin flip or better, which is really good when it's one of your worst matchups. I mean, it's part of the draw to this or that deck, is even your worst matchups, like, your floor is very high. You always have not just like a chance, but even a good chance. It's like the Delver effect, basically, right? But Cradle Control, we just smush them, right? Like, we have Dress Down, Otawara, Force of Will. Game 1, we have a good chance. I was running 2 Dress Down before, which was obviously better against them, but we have access to a large Dress Down, Echoing Truth, and probably the biggest thing is, and which is what I wanted to do with this deck, was make sure we have a very high number of non-artifact blue sources, because now that our deck construction isn't crippled by Thoughtcast and needing to have efficiency for that, we don't really have to play Seed of the Synod. It's more important, actually, that we just have Seagate restorations to be able to imprint with Chrome Mox and pitch to our Force of Will and raise the amount of non-artifact blue sources that we have. For a while, that's what we were doing with the PO deck, like the initial stages of the PO deck. But that deck tends to go long. It brings itself into the mid game and sometimes even the late game where it thrives. But Seagate just wasn't exactly where you want to be for that, right? You're just eating your life total rather quickly, and the Seat of the Synods were, at some point we just bit the bullet and said, like, we weren't playing all the baubles, and at one point I just said, we need to play Seat of the Synod and 8 baubles, like, that's what's going to make things smooth, and it did, and the deck is great. But this deck is faster, it's a very volatile, explosive, combo deck. It's very consistent. If you don't stop it, it's going to kill you turn 2 or 3. Or it's going to chain rings, right? Or it's going to... Okay, it doesn't kill you until turn 4, but on turn 2, they had a ring activation and a force up. On turn 3, now we have double force and another ring, you know? It's like if we're not killing you, we're chaining rings and just filling our hand with forces, which is really, really difficult to deal with. Another example of, you know, a major upside for this deck that maybe it has over the PO deck. We're better. I think this deck is better against Prison. The PO deck was pretty good against Prison too. It's not necessarily a bad matchup for either decks, but some of the hammers that have potential to shut down the PO deck don't affect us as much. We have 10 0 drops instead of like the 16 that the PO deck has. So Chalice on 0, Trinisphere. Someone in the Discord was playing a version. What were they playing? I'd have to go back and look at their list, but they were playing Trinisphere in a deck like this, a Jewel deck. And they do it in Vintage. However, Vintage has shops, right? Fisher's Workshop is a hell of a drug that we don't have access to. So I think it's more difficult to pull off Trinisphere. Having said that, I haven't tested it, and it's probably really good. But I don't know. Doing stuff like that, like Karn, those cards are good against decks that don't really exist that much. Like, there's not a lot of Storm. 8cast hasn't even been doing all that great. It's one of the reasons why people are switching to the PO deck. Not in any serious capacity. A fair capacity. I mean, there were 11 pilots, and it had the highest win rate across 3 Eternal Weekends. I'm sure people will see that, and it's tough. You gotta buy Grim Monoliths. If you're gonna play this deck, you have to buy Transmute Artifacts, which are $250 a pop, so you gotta spend $1,000 on Transmute Artifact. It's gonna take a little bit for people to jump ship. But the power level is there, the consistency is there. I don't know what this deck is worse against than the PO deck was. Like, it feels like it has very, very similar matchups across the board as PO, except just slightly better in a few of the matchups. I haven't played against enough tempo to comment on that. In fact, honestly, it's been a lot of non-tempo, non-beans. We've played a couple of beans decks. I lost to Bug, but those were the 2 matchups that the PO deck had trouble with, Cradle Control and Bug. Cradle Control got a bit better, as we discussed. Bug is tough. But I mean like the low-to-the-ground Pokimoki Bug, not like 4-color with white, or just, you know, one that's playing Daze, playing Wasteland, playing Collector, playing Leovold, just like all the things. But I think this Wormcoil engine was tech from Preslov, which honestly I had considered at one point, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. But I think it's just good. Like, how does Delver beat this? Other than, like, bouncing it with Petty Theft. They gotta double bolt it, but then there's still 2 3/3s. Like, block it and kill their thing. It's a major problem for them. We'll put it that way. But yeah, I mean, grids have been... Actually, come to think of it, I have played against a few tempo decks. We did quite well. I think we lost earlier today, basically to ourselves, just drawing really poorly. But even then, we've made a few changes to adjust, and I think for the better. At one point, we were down 2 lands. Like, I had 7 soul lands, and I think 1 less than 15. It was 14. Oh, right. I took one of the islands out, actually, and changed to a Lorien, which I do like. But we were on 14 lands without Lorien for a bit, and it was pretty clearly just we needed more. And I think I do like going up on the Basalt Monolith. There's enough times where you're just stuck on 3 mana and you can't cast any of your 4-drops, at which point Basalt Monolith is very close to comparable to Grim Monolith. Conveniently enough, if you have the 3 to pay for Basalt Monolith, then the following turn, you're going to have the 6 for Coveted Jewel. So that lines up quite nicely, and the 3 additional that you have to pay for this oftentimes gets recouped. The 3 additional, I mean the 1 additional, as opposed to Grim Monolith, oftentimes gets recouped when you transmute it away, because you get 1 more additional there. Like, it's definitely relevant when you go to cast Transmute and you're deciding what to sacrifice. It's nice having a 3-drop instead of a 2. I mean, a lot of time you're just sacking your jewel, but if you have enough mana and you're getting engine, you don't necessarily want to sack your jewel. You can get colored mana out of it. I know this is a long final thoughts section, but this is basically for those who are really just trying to squeeze out as much discussion as possible on the deck. If you want to get in early on a deck that's got, I'm telling you right now, this deck is fucking real. Like, full stop. It's, sometimes you just haven't played enough matches. Sometimes things aren't going well and you know you have to tweak a deck, but you think there's something there, so you keep pushing it. That's like just not where we are. We are, I'm sure there's going to be some fine-tuning along the way as we see how some of the matchups unfold and play them more and more. So things will change from here, but we're looking good. And I don't know about you, but it is fun AF casting this card. So what was like the big thing that allowed us to do this? And I apologize actually if I said any of this already. I'm kind of doing this backwards. I played the league, and now I'm doing final thoughts. I haven't done the intro. So, it might be a little bit redundant, but it's okay. If you want to get out of here, go for it. Scram. But just to show you like some of the older, this is from like over a couple months ago, right? Here's a jewel. I put no echo. There's 1 so that we can recycle. This is before we came off of Thassa's Oracle as a win con, but pay little attention to that. This seems to be on 15 lands as well. Down on soul lands, up on Saga. We're on 5 keys, 5 monoliths, which I don't love. The 4 opals, which I don't love, especially without baubles. This was clunky. At times it was nuts, but that's basically what you're going to get with a composition like this. It is unfinished, unsolved, unrefined, too many different things going on. Desire is just not good enough. PO is just better for so many reasons. It's cheaper. Being able to bounce your jewel is actually important, very important. And I don't know if you noticed, something glaring is there's no Transmute Artifact, which when it comes to jewel, I mean, it's good in the PO deck, but when it comes to this deck, that is the card that makes this deck possible. It is so good in this deck. And then of course there's another jewel build. This was Echo-centric. It's on 14 lands, no sagas, which makes sense. Higher density of metamorphs. That's the thing, when you're not playing Transmute Artifacts, you have to lean harder on metamorphs, which is just, it's not a good card. Like, on rate, it's just not good. I like having access to one. Like, it bleeds some of the numbers. Like, if you're up against orcs, we have a Dress Down, we have Odawara. Primarily, you're just abusing the One Ring trigger, but We also have Ballista, and then in addition to that, Metamorph is good against Orcs. So instead of like, oh yeah, we have 1 out in the deck, or we have 2 outs in the deck, no, we have a lot. Like, the deck is going to consistently, not to mention Force of Wills, right? Like, yeah, enough said there. It's funny that I always make this mistake. I put Emrakul, like when I'm first building sideboards, you just put in some obviously powerful stuff, you fine tune it later, and Emrakul is just a good way to get bonus points against Painter, but you just get fucked when you're trying to play Echo. You have this card in your hand. it's so bad. It's just a funny mistake. Yorion Jewel, yeah, I mean, I've messed around with Jewel quite a bit, but it's largely solved. We have fast-tracked to the fine-tuning stage, and I'm pumped. Hope you are too. I think I'm going to finally conclude this final thoughts section. I have not yet written a sideboard guide, obviously, since things are in flux, but I would imagine fairly soon we'll settle a bit, and I'll write a guide. You'll be able to find it on my Patreon. Before then, there is certainly a guide on my previous Eternal Weekend list for the BO deck. I have a guide for the Epic Gamble and for Black Saga Storm without the sieges. I'm in the process of writing a guide for Ruby Storm as well. So please go ahead, check out my Patreon, and don't forget to check out my Twitch. See y'all next time.